Right, so I'm going to keep this somewhat brief. So I played Traptrix today. I went 5-0 at locals. Round one was against Fire King Tri-Brigade, and that deck's generally not too bad. Like maybe if I had all the pieces, I would actually play around with it because it looks like a lot of fun. Round two was up against Heroes. Round two was up against Marincess. Round four, I was also up against Heroes. And last round I was up against Pure Snake Eye, but it was like proper maxed out. You know, it had like bonfires, all the wanted stuff. Like it was proper like a decent list. Yeah, and I played Traptrix. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is like my first time actually recording a deck profile in ages. So apologies if I'm a bit rusty. I more wanted to test out a lot of like theory that I had going into the event. And to be honest, I'm probably going to take a list really similar to this to the next few locals for the next few for the next few weeks. And I am planning to take this to regional. I've already got my invites. So I'm not really too bothered about doing like really well. I more just want to test out theory and just have a little bit of a laugh. And to be honest, I haven't played Traptrix for ages, so I just want to go back to it. So my whole entire theory before even building this deck is I hate building decks and I hate playing decks. That's kind of just linear. Like I like to go against grain and kind of just do my own thing. So yeah, let's get right into it. So for primary starters, Triple Milio and Triple Mantis. Both of these, like, Traptrix is really weird. They don't really have any like one card like full combo. They're more like 1.5 card combo, which is why you need to play stuff like Prosp. But these two, like this and this, plus either any other normal trap or any other Traptrix name is full combo. So that's why we're maxing them out. We're not maxing out on Pudica. Now the reason for this is really weird. So first of all, like the field spells are fine, but because everyone's packing in Cosmic, like you can't really expect the field spell to be sticking around a lot. And yeah, so that's why we kind of like dropped Pudica from 3 down to 2, and the field spell from 2 to 1. But I'll get into that a little bit later on. And the other reason why we're actually deciding to cut this is because SP Little Knight essentially does what Pudica does in terms of like banishing, but just like, you know, so much faster and so much more efficient. Don't get me wrong, like, it's still really good and we still want to be playing it, but we don't need to max it out anymore because obviously SP Little Knight is now a card. Yeah, but then on double Traptrix Dynea, no need to explain this, and one Arachnicamp on one Vescudo. Now the reason for this is because like they do really similar things, but this card is like an archetypal extender essentially, which locks you into insects and plants, and sometimes you don't want to be locked in, and this is just a full-on extender which doesn't lock you into insects and plants. Granted, it does require the send cost, but it's fine. So yeah, that's it for Traptrix names. Been pretty happy with it today. But I will be testing it out over the next few weeks. Moving on, we're then on Triple Parallel Exceed. I know people play Shade. I do not. I still value this card really highly. It's a 1 card rank 4. It allows you to do some pretty cool link plays as well, and it baits out hand traps like an absolute fucking champ. Yeah, like, yeah, I just don't think you need to play Shade Brigade. Parallel Exceed still is an amazing card in that slot. Moving on for Engine, Triple Holitaire. Just enough said, card's cracked. 2 copies of Grave Diggers, 1 Floodgate, 1 Tretch. So I know some other people might play like 5 or 6 trap holes. Don't. Like, these cards are just awful. You more want to be sending them with Rafflesia, just getting them for free throughout your combo. You do not want to be drawing these cards at all. They are just awful to draw. The reason why we're playing 2 Grave Diggers is because you can insulate yourself from hand traps with Rafflesia when going first, and like it's just generally really good in 5 format. 1 of this just because it says negate, and the 1 of this just because it's like the most generic card. It hits every type of summon, so it's really easy to trigger. Moving on, just the 1 gun. Kind of touched on this earlier with Pudica, but like 1's all you need. You don't need any more than 1. If it gets hit by Cosmic, like, it kind of sucks, but to be honest, you can live without it. You more just want to be searching it for free off Pudica and just get a bit of value out of it whilst sticking around. But don't expect this to live for the whole entire like game. Yeah. 3-pot consistency is the aim of the game. Pretty standard. No need to explain that. Like the overall main deck is pretty standard for the most part, as you can probably tell. 1 thrust and 1 talent. So I'm not gonna like go into full detail, but basically like thrust is just generally really good, especially in decks with their in theme like spells and traps. So in that way, like if we do get hand trapped, we can just set one of our like holes or hold a tail or something. It also gets really cute with Mantis. It's probably not going to come up. It might come up like once every 10 games, where if you get hand trapped and if you still got Mantis chilling, you can like thrust set talent. Then Mantis can then bounce the talent back to your hand. And then by that point, it's then treated as new cards, and you can just activate the talent for free. Like I said, probably not going to come up, but it's cute whenever it does. And then 1 talent just to make thrust a little bit better when going second. So in that way, like if you do like go into a board, you can like thrust, search out talent, and happy days. Okay, we're then on to our Dragon Prison. This card is generally just really solid in the current format. I mean, I could go into detail about why it is, but like taking stuff out of your opponent's graveyard, potentially like banishing both from either side of the field, and also the fact that like let's say you're just going in for like an OTK, you can just like take something out of their graveyard and just attack with it. Yeah, so it's overall just really solid. Yeah, like kind of triggers some of your disease. Yeah, I could go into detail, but yeah, the card's really good. Also settable by thrust, which is why we're not maxing it out. And then last up for hand traps, 3 and perm. Do not need to explain this card at all. Just triggers Sarah. It's just a really good hand trap. Triple Ghost Spell. This card actually overperformed today. Every time I saw this, I felt really safe. Like the thing is, like not only is it just a generally just really good against like all the graveyard centric decks, but it also hits like other stuff which you wouldn't really expect. For example, like Wanted, when they search for the Bellstar Dark Witch, you can hit that. You can hit, of course, like the big ones like the Flamberge Dragon. It's really good against pretty much every single Fire King effect. Yeah, and it can always be used in damage step because it says like negate activation. Just yeah, really good card. We're then on 3 Ash. This card is so mid, but like the problem is there's another card which really does what Ash does. Ash is just so generic, just against everything. But I hate it. I cannot stand this card. It is not good at all. But you need to run it. Like I hate saying that you need to run it. I much prefer to be playing something else. But there's no other hand trap which really fulfills the same niche. Maybe Vader, which I might genuinely test out Vader. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I want to be playing something else. I just don't know what. I might test out Vader going forward. For the extra deck, so need to be a bit of explaining with this. So 1 Wrath standard and 3 Sarah. This probably isn't standard. I know most people probably play 2, just because like a lot of decks they're like grinding, and there's so much removal going on around in the current format that you need to play the 3 so that way you can just grind it a little bit better. So yeah, you do need the 3rd Sarah, like highly recommended. Moving on, one thing, just cards are really good. It's also absolutely filthy with SP Little Knight. So obviously when SP is on summon effect, we can just like banish a card to control. If you banish a monster, you can then attach it to this card. And then following on from just the on summon effect of SP, whenever they activate card or effects, obviously you can then chain SP to target like a card you control, most of the time itself, then a monster they control. Then when you banish both up to the end phase, you can then attach it underneath ping. So then that way during the end phase, you can then get your SP back, but they don't get their monster. That interaction is so good. It's actually dirty, that interaction. I can't believe it's actually legal. It's like ridiculous in my opinion. Which, like, if you're playing Traptrix and if you're playing SP, like, it makes pings so much better. You just like refuel ping. Animeris kind of serves a similar purpose as ping. However, it's a bit more of an investment. So obviously Yeah, so like if you've got like multiple materials underneath it, if you do like SP banish their monster, you can detach 2 off of this and summon it to your side of the field, which obviously is better but requires more of an investment. However, like the main strength of this is if you have any other like target in the grave to summon, especially one card SP. So if you just summon this, detach 2, summon the level 4 insect plant monster from grave, and then you can just make SP, simple as that. Like it's really, really strong. It's also 2+1/4s, and I actually had a game today where I summoned this with like 5 materials, and there's lapses on top of it, really, really strong. And also we are playing the Utopia Draco package, and Alamaris can make this package so much a lot easier than you would otherwise. Like I can do some combo tutorials to explain how you can actually make UDF. But like, if you're playing it, you need to be playing Alamaris, and if you're playing Alamaris, you need to be playing these. This card is an absolute house, this format. So the reason why this card is actually so incredibly good in this deck is not only is it just incredibly hard for some decks to out, it can't be targeted, well no, sorry, it can be targeted, but it can't be destroyed battle or card effects. When they activate monster effect, you can negate it, not just destroy it, but you can like take control, which is really strong. Like taking control of opponent's monsters and cards in general is really, really strong in this format. So this card is just overall just an absolute beast. And the other thing which is like really underrated is depending on your hand and depending on like the deck that your opponent's playing, you can actually play around Super Poly. So if you have this and like Sarah up top, along with like maybe 1 or 2 setback proof, like you play around Super Poly. Or if you have this and sometimes you get in on this and like Raph, for example, or Sarah, just depends on your hand. Yeah, you can play around Super Poly a lot more. Like if you just end up with the standard board of Sarah and Rafflesia, you're just going to get absolutely just wrecked by Super Poly, and this card allows you to end on some form of interaction along with playing around Super Poly, which is just really good. One reader, pretty standard. This is another way to play around Super Poly, is making Sarah and Reader. Like if your hand can like stomach it, do not play into Super Poly at all. Otherwise you're just going to get wrecked. But yeah, Reader, just standard. No need to really explain that. 1 Zeus, 1 Typhoon. Both of these is pretty much stable in Traptrix now in my opinion. Like this card is an absolute beast, and this card just helps for going second. Yeah, like you rather need to explain them. And the last 3 is, so the last 3 cards, they are not required at all, they're total flex spots. 1 IP, so sometimes just anyone in IP along with everything else in the ending field, that might be okay. Like it's just another layer of interaction, IP into SP obviously. Yeah, 1 Cowboy for time. I'm testing this for regional, and I feel like in a regional you need to play some card for time. Like it sucks, but you kind of need to respect the clock. 1 Underworld Goddess. So not only is this good just for outing these like big unaffected boss monsters that some people might be playing, it just makes IP just that little bit better. So in that way, if you end on IP, you can manage to like take the monster as well. You can like probably like do like shenanigans. Like I don't know, it just makes IP better, and yeah, good for out these unaffected boss monsters. Has come up once today. Yeah, really good card. Moving on for the side. Side is really weird, but I'm just gonna not really skim over it, but 22 bank. I'm just testing this out. It's good against Rogue, and on paper it seems okay against the Lab as well. Especially the fact that you can just like chain this to like Lady if they're trying to like trigger a Lady or something. It's just, yeah, it's really versatile. Triple Retaliating Sea. This card is actually garbage all day, but it still helps against these bad matchups, namely against Pearly and anything playing Runic. This card's just an absolute beast against. Really, really recommend them. 1 Snatch Still. Testing this out, overperformed today a lot. Every time I drew the card, my hand just felt so much better. It's just really good just to bait out interaction. And yeah, just overall just really good card. No need to explain that. 1 Change of Heart. Kind of along the lines of Snatch Steal. I would say this card is actually better than Snatch Steal, just because you can thrust into it. And also what's really good about this, like not only can you steal their guy, but then you can just slap Typhoon on top of it. It just feels like cheating by that point. Like, it honestly does. Yeah, card's good. But then on triple Grove Cubes and Inscription, this card overperformed today, especially against Fire King and these Snake Eye matchups. Like, every time I activated this, I just won the game. Like, you just slap this down, and you just feel so much safer at that point. Like, you do need to be running this today, like, in this format. Like, this card is just incredible. Like, overperforms so much. Even against, like, heroes, like, I still sided this in, just because, like, you know, you need to play Connect for cards effects and Grave, right, cool, what's heroes doing against that? Like, yeah, really solid. Triple Cosmic, not going to explain this at all. Just you need to keep playing it in the current format. Card is mental. And last up is 2 Magic Deflector. This is like my only going first, like proper going first card. I suppose Grave Crucible Inscription also kind of cancels the going first card. This really is. So the reason why I'm playing this over stuff like Solemn and Anti-Spell Fragrance is you can thrust into this, so it makes it that bit more consistent. And this card's like an absolute house, especially the fact that like most power spells right now are quick plays. And so like if your opponent activates a quick play, so like if this was anti-spell and you are going first, you then set the anti-spell and then turn your face flip anti-spell over, you can then chain a quick play, and at that point you're getting like no value out of it. Whereas with this, you will be getting value because you can just chain this when they activate a quick play, and at that point, happy days. Yeah, this card is just incredible. So I do want to touch over some theory as well, especially theory that I've seen in the Traptrix group. First of all, I see people playing Shifter, no idea why. Shuts off Reflavia, shuts off any type of follow-up that you have. Absolute garbage in my opinion. Do not play that card, it's not good. I also see people playing multiple Rafflesia, no point, like one's all you need. And I also see people playing Shaper-Dean. I might test it, but at the moment I think Paraluxide is fine. And overall, like, I've been really happy with the list. However, I do highly recommend the SP Little Knight. It makes stuff like Pink so much better. Like literally I just won a grind game just like by continuously having the SP kicking around, banishing all their stuff and then just reattaching all of it underneath Ping. Like literally won a grind game because of that. Yeah, just, I mean, I will be testing it and I might do another profile a little bit later on when the original comes a bit nearer. I've also got a OTS tournament coming up and we're going to be testing a variant really close to this at the OTS tournament. I still need to fine tune it and I still need to fine tune my technical play. I did misplay like once or twice in the first couple of rounds, but I think it's just because getting back into Traptrix, still a little bit rusty. But yeah, overall, a lot of fun, and I will keep everyone in the group a little bit updated about my list. If you've got any recommendations, please leave a comment down below. But yeah, in the meantime, yeah, have a great day. Thank you.